Hi guys, welcome to Snake Nook. I'm Vanny and with me I have the Autumn. She's my 2-year-old albino pinstripe royal python. She's helping me out with this intro. And the topic of today's video is the dreaded 1,000-gram wall and other ball python woes. Stay tuned. This is Stormy. She's my pastel adult royal python or ball python. And she inspired the previous video that I made titled Looking at the Ball Python Beyond the Morph. One of the points that I made in that video, looking at the ball python beyond the morph, was that ball pythons are seasonal eaters. For the most part, I think that in captivity, if you keep more than one ball python, you will eventually notice that one or more of your ball pythons may be seasonal eaters. So here we go. The first woe of keeping a royal python may possibly be the 1,000-gram wall. And if you're not familiar with the 1,000-gram wall, it is when your ball python suddenly stops eating, begins fasting, and they aren't fully grown yet. They will typically be about 1,000 grams, give or take 100 grams. And usually it is the female ball pythons that you may notice could possibly be hitting that 1,000-gram wall. So it will be the first time that they will be fasting. And some people have even asked, well, how do I circumvent this? Or how do I go around it? How do I prevent the 1,000-gram wall? And well, the ball python is designed to fast at certain periods of time. So there really is no way to circumvent this milestone, shall we say, in a royal python's life. That's the thing. People need to understand that the ball python in its natural environment was designed to go certain periods without eating, and there is no flaw in their design. So there truly is no way to prevent this. Now, not every single royal python or ball python owner will see this. Not every single one, especially if you only have like the 1 or 2 ball pythons. You may not see this behavior from your one ball python. Let's talk about their digestive metabolism for a couple minutes here. So in order for us to understand the 1,000-gram wall and just any other fasting related to the ball python, of course, given that it is not related to husbandry, any mistakes in husbandry, let's say that your humidity is on point, you've got hides for your snake so it's not stressing out in the open. Let's just say that the temps are right as well. You've got that temperature gradient where the ball python has a cool hide to go into, maybe even a neutral hide and a warm hide for sure that has to be there, and that there is enough heat for sure, whether it's belly heat or heat coming from above. So assuming that everything is on point there, let's go ahead and talk about digestive metabolism in the ball pythons as the reason why they are going to be able to go into fasting and actually not need to eat for an extended period of time of, let's say, 2, 3, 4 months and even beyond. So let's go ahead and talk about the digestive metabolism in royals or ball pythons. So snakes can lower their metabolism to the point where they are surviving off of the energy stores that they have in their body. Snakes in general can lower their metabolism. Now, the royal python has a very important adaptation as a wild snake. It is able to slow down its metabolic rate by 70%, helping them to survive longer without food. And If you think about it, guys, if they're living out there in their natural environment, they are taking their place in an ecosystem. Their prey may not be as available at certain times of the year as it would be, say, when they tend to be more plentiful. So snakes have a special way of reducing their metabolism, which is actually quite unique to this particular animal in the animal kingdom. So what exactly is going on when a snake has that meal that's going to take them through this brumation period that they are going to go through, perhaps at the same time that their prey are in hibernation? So when a snake eats their prey item, let's just say a rat, for example, the protein is going to be that first nutrient that the snake will use up in the prey item. And later on, the lipids or the fatty acids in the nutrients of the rat, or rather that the rat is providing, that can go on reserve, and that will be used later on. And even the bones of the prey item do not get digested right away. They may still be fully intact 4 days after the snake has eaten their meal. So as you can see, the snake's metabolism can be very, very slow. So they do not need to eat for a long time. When they are going through this period of fasting, they just don't need another meal at the time. I find it very interesting how royal pythons are able to effectively partition the two metabolic fuels, the proteins and the lipids in their meals. Oh, and keep in mind too, guys, in case you are feeding your ball python or any other snake, if you are feeding them any sausages for snakes, I don't want to mention any brands, but if you are feeding them anything that is encased, for example, anything pureed or chopped up really finely, and they are taking like a sausage type prey because, well, they are in captivity and now people are buying that for their snakes, just know that your snake was not designed to eat snake sausages, and their digestive system will go through a sausage much quicker than it would if it had an actual prey item. So if you would typically want to feed your snake, say every 3 weeks, do your research, because feeding them a sausage, they're not designed for that. So their bodies are very specifically designed to break down whole prey items, and there is no flaw in their design. But nowadays, people, but the sausage has all of these different things in it, and so it's very nutritious, but yet the snake is not designed to consume a pureed meal in a sausage or chopped up super finely and put in a sausage casing or something like that. So just be aware. I'm not saying don't feed this to your snake. Always do your research. Just know that if you are feeding your snake a snake sausage, well, I don't know I don't want to say the brand, but I'm pretty sure those of you that have heard of it or maybe feeding it to your snake, you know what I'm talking about. That doesn't apply here, guys, because I'm talking about whole prey items. Moving on. So 3 months after fasting, my Stormy had a shed. 3 months after fasting. She really didn't lose much weight, guys. She didn't. She pretty much kept her weight intact. She did lose just a little bit of weight, but really nothing noticeable. She did have a shed. And something that I did, when was it? I think it was back in March when she was still fasting. And at that time, I figured she had about another 2-3 weeks of fasting to go, because the last 2 years she came out of fasting at the end of March or beginning of April. So sometime in April she was already eating, and this was the case for the last 2 years. Well, anyway, I placed her in this new enclosure. This is Whirly. Now we're looking at Whirly here real quick. She's a 1 that just doesn't do anything like a ball python. She's so different. She doesn't even know she's a royal. But anyway, back to Storm. We had put her in this 4x2x2 along with Whirly. Whirly was in her own 4x2x2. Whirly did just fine. She took all of her meals. Whirly's never fasted. She did, well, she may fast a little bit when she's shedding. Other than that, she's never gone through the extended period of time fasting that Stormy has. Stormy did it all. Stormy hit the 1,000-gram wall. She's done the seasonal fasting. She's done the breeding fasting. Well, she's never bred, but you know, she's done all that fasting. And I you know, moved her into this 4x2x2 enclosure. She used to be in a tub, and she didn't eat for me when she was supposed to be coming out of her fasting. And I remember offering her the prey item on tongs. I offered it to her and placed it really close to her. She smelled it. She looked at it. She looked interested. She didn't take it. And I waited. I was patient. She looked at it. She kept looking at it. And then all of a sudden, it looked like she started periscoping. And she was looking straight up like she does when she used to get fed when she was in the tub. So she was looking up because she thought her meal should be coming from above, like it had been for a long time. Then I realized we are in May. We're in mid-May. Stormy hasn't taken a meal. She should have at least a month ago started eating. And then I realized all the time that she's been in this 4x2x2, she has not eaten. Now she had already been fasting. So I decided, I made the executive decision to place her back in a tub, just like she used to have. I kept all of her things the same, her water bowl, her hides, any decor pieces, that was all the same. I went and purchased this tub and then placed her in all of her belongings in there, and then I placed her in there. 3 hours later, it was feeding time, and she took her meal. She took her meal after so long, and that's another ball python woe. Sometimes they don't want to move to a new enclosure. Sometimes they don't want the bigger, more spacious, nicer looking, you know, that appeals to us. She wanted her tub, her good old tub. I guess that makes her feel more secure. So security is definitely very important to the ball python, even more so than food. If they are not secure, this is what she has taught me. If they are not secure, if she doesn't feel secure and safe, she's not going to eat. That is far more important to her. She knows she can go longer without food, and so she's gonna wait. Well, guys, I hope that this video has helped you to understand a couple of woes that come with having a royal or a ball python, or well, at least to us, they may be woes. But to the royal, that is how they're designed, and there is no flaw in their design. Thank you so much for staying with us, guys. Y'all have a good one. Bye.